Hey everyone, what's happening? Alright, so I'm just here walking through the streets of beautiful Barcelona, and I stumbled upon a local fish store. So we're gonna head in, we're gonna check this place out. Just a quick tour. Hopefully you can hear me. There's lots of street traffic going on, and I hope you enjoy it. I think it's a beautiful store. If you're ever in the area or if you live here, you should totally check it out. Alright, let's go. So the name of this fish store is Animals Aquatics, and it's located in Barcelona, Spain. And if you're ever in the area, I definitely recommend you check it out. It was a really nice store. The first thing you see when you walk in is a row of several tanks with some nice aquascapes. And this was a small aquarium, probably about 5 gallons, but it had a nice piece of driftwood with some good plant growth around it. And these cool fish, which I don't know what they are, probably some type of Endler, but they looked really nice in this tank. I really enjoyed this setup. And this next tank was one of my favorites there. I love aquariums where the aquascape creates a real sense of depth. This makes you feel like you're in a lush valley of some sort. And even though you can see the back of it, it really feels like you're drawn into it. So sorry for the glare. I couldn't really control the lighting, but I like this tank a lot. The next aquascape is a bit more minimalist. There's no plants in here, and it's more of a blackwater setup where the driftwood is reaching down into the tank, like the roots of a tree. And I love aquascapes like that. And I think these tetras accent it very well. I'm not sure what kind of tetras these are, maybe emperor tetras. Drop it in the comments below if you know. But yeah, I like this setup a lot. Let's move on. And all you planted tank nuts out there, I think are really gonna like this one. This will probably be your favorite in this video. This is reminiscent to me of, your George Farmer tanks, your green aqua tanks. Very lush, very well planted. I don't see any algae. It's a very good aquascape. It's well maintained. Again, sorry for the glare. I couldn't really help it. And I love these big rimless tanks. I can't keep rimless tanks because the type of fish that I like will most likely jump out of the aquarium. But I really appreciate how they look. I'm a big fan of the clean lines. This next tank is really fun. It's a goldfish tank, and it's a decent sized one too. If I had to guess, I'd say it was about 120 gallons. And it's a simple aquascape, at least relative to the other planet tanks we've seen. Some river rocks with some bigger river boulders almost, and a couple plants in the back. Looks like some type of Vallisneria. And then some, goldfish. We have some fancy goldfish, some more common comet goldfish, and those are actually the ones that I would like, since I like bigger fish, and I think they're cool, even though they're pretty, common. Next up is a saltwater tank, and actually a nice looking reef tank. And I don't know anything about reef tanks, so I'm just going to admire this with you guys. I can't really speak to what kind of corals are in here. I imagine you have a mix of both hard and soft corals, but that's about all I know. I do like these fish. I love this color variation of clownfish, where the body is mostly white and the orange is more along the face and the fins. Another saltwater fish that I really love in here are these blue fish. I think they're a type of damselfish, maybe like a blue chromide. Anyone knows that? Go ahead and drop it in the comments below. I can't really speak to it. But what I can speak to is this tank, this planet tank, with Discus in it, because I love Discus. They had a few nice specimens here. Nothing that would win some of the Discus competitions, but still good fish. They have this turquoise Discus, and they all have different names depending on who's selling them. They have this pigeon-based checkerboard Discus. Could be called a red leopard, white leopard. You never know with names. They tend to just be various branding on the same type of fish. But with these fish, the shape is really good. You can see they have a more round body. That is admirable in Discus. And of course, this tank has a great aquascape in its own right. These plants look really nice. I like how they have some growing up out of the water column. The tank is very lush with no algae that I could see. And that can be hard to achieve with Discus. Finding the balance between growing plants but keeping the water clean enough for them. But let's move on. Here we have a nice betta rack with a few aquascapes on top, And I like these types of betta racks because the fish get a lot more space than they do in most fish stores. Sometimes you see them being sold in little cups, and I hate seeing that. And on top, it had these small aquariums with some nice aquascapes. Here's a betta with some tetras, actually. I don't know much about keeping bettas, but I have heard people say that you can keep them with other fish, and it seems to be working here. And this is a nice little aquascape, probably more suited for shrimp or being on its own. But yeah, I liked it. And here we have probably the last aquascape in the store to look at. It's another more minimalist aquascape, but I really like it. Not a ton of plants, but it has these branches that are coming up into the water column. Gives it almost a type of forest feel. And these fish are really cool. I don't know what they are, probably some more endlers, maybe a type of guppy, but I really like how this looks. All right, let's move on to the racks of fish they have for sale. And we're not going to look at each tank. It's a lot of the type of fish you'll see at many fish stores. But what I want to draw attention to is how clean this is, and even how nice each tank looks. Almost every tank here for retail fish sale has a nice aquascape in it. And you don't see that in many stores, at least not in the United States. They tend to be much more barren to make it easier to catch fish out of, which I get the utility of that, but I appreciate what they've done here. You can tell how much time and care they've put into the fish that they have up for sale and trying to present a really nice image. I think what I was most impressed with at this store was how well they utilized the smaller footprint that they had available. Everything was very clean and presented very well, and it was such a pleasure to find this little slice of nature along the streets of busy Barcelona. So if you're ever in the area, I definitely recommend paying them a visit. Animals Aquatics was a great fish store to come across, and my only regret was that I couldn't buy anything and fly it home with me. But hey, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this impromptu fish store tour. If you liked it, stay tuned for more content like this. We got a ton of more stuff to show you, from do-it-yourself instructionals to species profiles to maybe even more fish store tours. Either way, take it easy, guys.